Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
I mean, this place, Beaver Stadium, is absolutely incredible. So having a hockey rink in it finally it's surreal.
Once just a vision, now a reality. The outdoor hockey weekend is here. How the men's hockey team approaches a fun opportunity against one of the top opponents in the nation. The Big Ten releases the 2026 football schedule when the Nittany Lions make their toughest road trips, and which Saturday night is the likely choice for the whiteout.
The relationship, the cooperation that we've had back and forth with each other has just been incredible, and I think the end result is fantastic.
And a new exhibit is on display in the All Sports Museum. It features the dynamic photography work of Pat Little and encompasses the years from 1977 through 2005. Why the museum wanted a retrospective of those seasons and what catches your eye as you experience this collection. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello everyone and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside Ryan Yee. The Big Ten football schedule is released. A brand new exhibit is on display in the All Sports Museum, and our Impact interview is with Ashley Adamson of the Big Ten Network. But it's accurate to say that hockey takes center stage.
Yeah, that is right. For the first time ever, the puck drops in West Shore home field at Beaver Stadium. And let me tell you, the excitement is building as the final preparations heading into the outdoor games for the Nittany Lions are complete.
Excitement is building for a first-of-its-kind hockey game at Penn State.
We've been thinking about this since the day we stepped on campus, right? Like, one of the biggest stadiums in the world, playing an outdoor game here has always been a dream for all the guys that play here. So it's awesome that it's coming into reality now.
The first ever outdoor hockey games at West Shore home field at Beaver Stadium is set for this weekend. Both the women's and men's team, just down the road from their usual home of Pagula Ice Arena, will take to the winter elements.
Can't put a bigger event on than something at Beaver Stadium, and we come to the football games in the fall, and you see that environment. It's really cool, and we can't wait to experience it. And it's going to be a little colder out than normal, but I think all the fans are going to be ready to go, and it's going to be really cool.
It's certainly colder, and thanks to the snow, it does feel like a true whiteout. But other than those things, you'd expect to see football here at Beaver Stadium. However, when you walk inside, the scene is set for a hockey game like no other.
Half the guys are just, skating around, looking around so it's good to get that part out of the way. But it's a huge weekend. But really, to play an outdoor game in Beaver Stadium is amazing, and it's something none of us will ever forget.
Definitely envisioning the student section behind us over here and all the chants and everything, and we see it firsthand as students, football games. So it's going to be cool to be on the other side of that and hopefully have some of the same chants in the football games.
An all-hands-on-deck effort to give Penn State hockey fans a game they have never experienced before.
This is different. This is in Beaver Stadium. There's going to be over 70,000 people here. I mean, it's incredible. For Penn State to pull this off, that's a heck of an accomplishment. It takes so many different departments, so much cooperation with Old Main, athletic department, fire, safety, emergency, travel, sports science, you name it. There's so many departments had to come together to make this happen. And what I think the coolest thing is all of these people shoveling snow, from students to Pat Kraft and Vinnie James themselves to OPP to so many other employees. Wonderful to see.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, you see all the hard work and effort it goes into making an event like this, and just to see Penn State rally around our team and show their support to us and creating this event, it's really special, and it's really cool to be a part of. I know it's been a long time coming. I think every single alumni and every player that's gone through here has wanted this opportunity, and the fact that we're able to do it now, it's really special, and it's something I'll never take for granted.
Yeah, after the guys came off the ice, all smiles for them, Todd.
Awesome setting for hockey. Important to remember, though, it's a top 5 matchup as well, as they host second-ranked Michigan State for a pair of games in Hockey Valley. Now, Gavin McKenna and PSU move up in the rankings to 5th based on their impressive performance in Madison against Wisconsin, and they score 7 unanswered goals in the Game 1 victory last week. Game 2, this shot from J.J. Webush, a Madison native, opens the floodgates for a comeback in the third period. Webush ties it, and then a little later, they apply some more pressure on net. It's Reese Laubach who stuffs it home for what proves to be the game winner. Coach Kadowski can sense another W, and in the final moments, It's an empty net, and it's McKenna with his 4th goal of the weekend. He had a hat trick in Game 1 along with Dane Dowiak. He adds the insurance tally to make the final 3-1, increases their winning streak to 7 going into the outdoor weekend.
Top 5 matchup, and both these games are huge for both teams, both nationally as well as in the Big Ten. So there's a lot of implications to the points and the wins. So not only is it an awesome spectacle, it's a big game, and wow, that's the way we want it.
Amazing to see the elevation in this program in the past few years. A Frozen Four appearance last year, Big Ten and national championship contenders this season. And for the women's hockey team, it's a familiar feeling as they wrap up another regular season league championship. A 7-zip shutout of Delaware locks up their 4th consecutive Atlantic Hockey America title. One of the main perks from winning the regular season is to host the entire postseason on home ice. The AHA playoffs begin in February. The women are hosting Robert Morris for 2 games during this outdoor hockey weekend.
Now, can't exactly pinpoint when scheduled release day became a thing, but it is one of the bigger moments of the offseason in football. Earlier this week, PSU fans find out when the blue and white will be on the home field and when they are hitting the road. One of the highlights of the home schedule is certainly October 10th, when USC comes to State College for the first time since 1994. This is video of the Nittany Lions' comeback win in Los Angeles last season. The Trojans march east to Beaver Stadium this fall. When you look at the entire list of home games and dates, it appears to be the likely choice for the annual whiteout game. And first year for head coach Matt Campbell, the strength of the schedule is not going to get much easier than this. 3 straight non-conference opponents to kick off the season, including a trip to Philly to face Temple, then the Big Ten opener at home against Wisconsin. First conference road trip is to Northwestern on October 3rd, followed by a game that will most likely be in whiteout conditions against USC. We move to the second half. A trip to the Big House in Ann Arbor follows the USC game. It's on October 17th. Then it's a bye week to rest up a bit. The home stretch is Purdue on Halloween in Happy Valley, off to the West Coast to face Washington, final 2 at home versus Minnesota and Rutgers, with the regular season finale at Maryland. Perhaps this year's football season will be one for the history books. Coming up next, we highlight a new exhibit in the All Sports Museum that documents some of the memorable athletes, coaches, and moments from 1977 through 2005. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
The opening drive is sponsored by R&R Express. Every shipment moved contributes to autism research and inclusion through the Excel Foundation. Learn more at wearerr.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. The football program cemented their status as a powerhouse with 2 national championships. But the era from 1977 to 2005 includes so much more than that in Penn State sports history. A new exhibit at the All Sports Museum features the work of photographer Pat Little. The images he captured are now on display, and they'll evoke all kinds of emotions for PSU fans.
Athletes, coaches, fans, the Blue Band, even the Lion. Pat Little captured them all during a long career behind the lens. Now retired, an image that he recently shared caught the eye of the All Sports Museum director.
I'm sitting at my desk one day and my wife calls me up and she says, "You got to see this." And so she sends me a link. I'm like, what am I looking at? And it opens up and it's the photo of Lisa Ingebrigtsen in midair approaching the vault back in the late 70s. And I went, this is a stunning, unbelievable image. And all of a sudden I open this up and there's other photos that Pat has posted.
Lou felt the images and the era were the perfect fit for the museum's next exhibit. Pat was up to the task and combed through thousands of pictures. The collaborative process resulted in a display of Pat's dynamic style.
There was something special and unique and powerful about the way that he was able to capture those images, to be there for those moments.
Pat began taking photographs as a Penn State senior working for the Daily Collegian in 1977. He was kind enough to sit down with us for a detailed interview about his work and the exhibit, and even give us some of the backstories behind his personal favorites. We will have our one-on-one interview with Pat in a future episode of the program. You can tour the exhibit from now until August of 2027.
Now, the men's basketball team is part of the winter weekend. They host Minnesota in the BJC on Sunday with a 2 o'clock tip-off. It's the coaches versus cancer game along with Alumni Day. There's no sugarcoating this one, though. It's been a rough season for the guys. They continue to battle every time they step on the floor, though. That includes their trip earlier this week to Columbus to face Ohio State. Down 18 at the half, this basket by Josh Reed pulls them within 7, and late in the second half, momentum is building for the Lions. Mike Rhodes likes what he sees there, and they're going to continue to roll. The team regroups and keeps the ball, and they're going to move it well. Around the perimeter, pass to Eli Rice behind the arc. On the far side, he buries it, and the deficit is just 4. The Buckeyes make their free throws down the stretch, though, and the Nittany Lions come up short against OSU. Up next, our Impact interview with Ashley Adamson of the Big Ten Network. She recaps an improbable football season, tells us about some other athletes and teams to watch this winter in the conference. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Good morning. Door installed.
Let's show these guys how it's done.
What's up around here? Oh, no. All part of the plan.
Taking doors off, putting doors back on. What a world.
So I just gotta come back tomorrow and finish the trim.
There's a reason West Shore Home is America's most trusted home remodeler.
That looks good.
West Shore Home. Remodeling reimagined.
Want to learn to ski? The Pocono Mountains is the place to be. With lessons for every age, you'll be skiing or snowboarding in no time. Learning is fun and the views are beautiful. Choose from 6 amazing ski areas. Learn more at PoconoSki.com.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Well, welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It is time for our Impact interview, and it is always fun to catch up with one of our good friends from the Big Ten Network. Ashley Adamson is our guest this week, and there is certainly plenty to talk about, Ashley, when it comes to football and then all of the other sports. I know you were embedded with the Indiana football team, so we're going to get to that right away. But first and foremost, thanks for the time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so happy to join you anytime I can, Todd. Thanks for having me.
And look, it's not lost on me. The show name is Nittany Game Week, okay? We're going to talk about Penn State. But as I just mentioned, you were with Coach Cignetti, a Pennsylvania native, and the Hoosiers. And I still find it really not just impossible, just improbable that this happened in Bloomington. Can you describe in your words, like, just what he was able to do in his second year to get the Hoosiers to be undefeated, win the national championship, and just with the crew that he did it with, an amazing cast of young men?
We have been searching for words to describe what this actually is for the past month and a half. And I don't know that we have totally come up with the right way to talk about it because, Todd, you know it, recency bias is a thing when you're in something and it's so close. Sometimes it's hard to step back. I do think as time goes by, we will look back and appreciate even more what just happened. I have never seen, and I don't think I will ever see anything like what Curt Cignetti did, the way he flipped the program. And it wasn't just the program, it was the ethos of a university and a fan base and a community. And I think, we're so lucky for what we get to do and the people we get to meet and the games we get to watch. But when I retire, at the top of my list of things that I will remember and feel so truly grateful that I had a front row seat to was this postseason run by Indiana. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons that we can get into about how he did it and why he was able to do it. But it was one of the most likable teams I have ever been around. These are guys that came, a lot of them came from James Madison. There were no 5 stars. I met Fernando Mendoza when he was a 4-string quarterback at Cal and was the backup. And just to see it all come together and the unity of the team. There were plenty more programs that had more talent, but no one in the country played together as a team the way that Indiana played. Every week they found that edge. And that was, it was remarkable. And at the very end, we were standing there right on the sideline when Jamari Sharp picked off Carson Beck. And I was thinking in my head, I'm going, is this going to be the Carson Beck redemption game? Like, is he finally going to come through, win this thing in Miami? Like, is this how the story's going to end? But no, the Miami kid was going to pick it off, and that was going to be the storybook ending. So it was phenomenal. And I feel so lucky to have been a really small part of it, to have been able to talk to those guys along the way.
Well, you touched on the Heisman Trophy winner, of course, with Penn State. We witnessed history right then and there in their last-minute drive to beat Penn State. He certainly earned my Heisman Trophy vote, not just with that drive, but with all the other things, and he's underappreciated for how he keeps the team together. But I do want to switch to the Nittany Lions, because as Indiana went one direction, Penn State went in another wild direction. I can't remember a 7-6 season like this, but it goes to the firing of James Franklin, the rise of Terry Smith within the organization, and the amazing job he did to keep the team together, and then finally the arrival of Matt Campbell.
Yeah, I will say, first of all, I loved that Terry Smith, I loved what he was able to do at the end of the season. And the Pinstripe Bowl, you're closer to it than I am, but it looked cathartic after all they had been through. So I'm thrilled that he was retained on Matt Campbell's staff. I don't know Matt Campbell personally. I haven't gotten a chance to meet him or cover him yet, but everyone I know that has covered him raves about this guy. And he does seem like the perfect guy for the job. I loved, watching his introductory press conference. Like, he was emotional, and you can tell that he understands what this opportunity means, and he understands the responsibility and sort of the gravity of the job. And I think he said something to the effect of, like, my responsibility is to unify us. And that, at the end of the day, Todd, is like, it's what great coaches do. Of course, play calling and, being good at situational football and fitting your scheme to the players that you have, those things are important. But more than ever, like in 2026, in the era of the portal and NIL, the best coaches will be the ones who can unify a locker room, an alumni base, and the university. And that's going back to, that's what Curt Cignetti did. And they went 16-0, not because they had the best talent again, but because they played together as a team. So I'm excited for Penn State. I'm excited for Penn State fans. I'm excited for the players. And I think that the thing about Matt Campbell, I'm in the Bay Area, where Brock Purdy, the Niners quarterback, anything he says, you hear about. And I remember him talking a lot about when Matt Campbell almost took the USC job in 2021. And he had talked to him and just said, is this really right for you? Is LA the right fit? And, there's the stories out there, but he ended up deciding to stay. And I think that also speaks to who Matt Campbell is. And this opportunity is different than what USC offered. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see, Curt Cignetti didn't do any first-year coaches any favors by resetting what the expectations are and what you can achieve in a very short amount of time. But I think he's going to have this thing moving in the right direction in no time at all.
Yeah, good point about the quick turnaround. It really sets that bar high, and it probably helps Coach Campbell that their schedule is a little bit easier than what you would expect. Both Indiana and Ohio State cycle off of that schedule, and they don't have to face Oregon. So I wanted to bring that up. When did the schedule release become a thing? Because it is a thing, and it is fun, and it is one of the better days of the offseason when the schedule is released. And just looking at Penn State's schedule, the USC trip when they come to town is kind of the obvious whiteout conditions, and that might be the whiteout. But not just Penn State, but the rest of the conference. Are there any matchups or any games that you saw maybe released or games that you look forward to on an annual basis that come out on the schedule?
Yeah. And I would say, like, any opportunity, and we can say this because we both work in the media, but any opportunity where you can talk football and you can get people to tune in to an event, whether it's a sporting event or not, if it's around college football, people are going to watch. So it is funny how it's kind of taken on a life of its own in the last several years. But I think for Penn State, as you mentioned, they've got a really favorable schedule. Like, they don't play Indiana, Ohio State, or Oregon. They don't face Illinois or Iowa. And that USC game on October 10th is kind of the one that jumps out. I believe it's the Trojans' first trip to Happy Valley since, the early 90s. Danton Lynn, Penn State's new defensive coordinator, of course, will be facing his former team. But the date that really stands out is October 17th in Bloomington, Indiana, is where all of the eyes are going to be. That's Ohio State and Indiana, the last two national title winners, and a rematch of this year's Big Ten championship. So that's the one that I think everybody has circled. But the thing that's fun about, and what's been cool about the Big Ten, again, the last couple of years as I've been with the network, is that the games that we have circled early on aren't always the ones that end up being the ones that are, riveting. And again, Indiana is a great example of what can happen overnight in a program that changes the entire trajectory of a season in a program. So I do think when you look at USC, just one last thought I have on the schedule. Oh my gosh, talk about a schedule that is brutal. Like, year 5 for Lincoln Riley is going to be interesting because they've got games, obviously against Penn State, as we mentioned. They play Ohio State and Oregon. They've got one home game in November. And and this is a rough schedule. And they even dropped Notre Dame, which is a whole other conversation to be had. But that's the schedule that I look at, and we knew it was coming. But like, man, that is a gauntlet compared to what certainly Penn State's set up to do.
Always appreciate the chance to talk with Ashley. Make sure you go to nittany-game-week.com for all of our Impact interviews, along with other web exclusive content, like our Nittany Connect network of businesses. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, he now wears the colors for the Green Bay Packers in the NFL, but Micah Parsons still bleeds blue and white, the strong way that he supports the men's hockey team during their trip to Wisconsin. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
In the Pocono Mountains, we always want you to feel like a guest in our home, our mountain home.
Our 4 diamond homes.
You can dream.
Relax, we'll do it all for you.
Do it your own way. Choose a vacation rental home.
Our water parks are a splash of world class. We don't have to clean all these rooms, right?
The Pocono Mountains, where you're treated like a guest in all our mountain homes. Visit PoconoMountains.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the Sensory Room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium, and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Is there a better way to celebrate a big conference win than with a Penn State football all-timer? Micah Parsons makes an appearance at Penn State's hockey game in Wisconsin. The now Green Bay Packer swings on by to support his alma mater, and by the looks of it, along with a broken Thor's hammer, Parsons is a pretty big Penn State hockey fan. Support the players surely appreciate.
Micah, he's awesome. He's just a big Penn Stater at heart, and he told us that there was nothing better in his career than wearing the blue and white, and that really resonated with me and my teammates. That we're living in the good old days right now, and we're going to take this all in and never take it for granted.
Micah, the hockey team, a Penn State family that bleeds blue and white. Now, sticking with the hockey theme, it's time for our Dean's List, and you just heard from him. Captain Dane Dowiak, along with freshman Gavin McKenna, were named Big Ten Stars of the Week. Dowiak second, McKenna leading the way with the first star honors. That is now 7 different Penn State players who have earned the weekly accolade. On to women's golf. We're putting the entire team on the Dean's List for the incredible run they've been on. Following another top 5 finish at the UCF Challenge, they have now gone 4 straight in the top 5. The team shot a 5 under in the Sunshine State. And lastly, another record is broken in track and field. This time, Nick Sloth runs a 7.4855 to beat a decade-old school record in the 3,000 meter. It is also the 10th fastest time in Division I this season. Congrats to this week's Dean's List honorees.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Well done by the Dean's List athletes. We're bringing PSU fans and alumni together with our Nittany Connect network at nittany-game-week.com, partnering with businesses that support the show and letting our viewers know about their great products and professional services. Make sure to check out nittany-game-week.com for all of our web-exclusive content, airtimes for all of our network of stations, previous episodes, and interviews. All can be found. It's at one convenient location, nittany-game-week.com.
And while you're visiting the website, make sure to submit your tailgating and game picks from the game. We always do appreciate it.
Yeah, show us your spirit. For Ryan, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.